Incredible battle for our minis as they will prepare for action once again. The 104 will start from pole position in a very tough race battle ahead of them. So that appears to be yesterday's starting grid. Not entirely sure why we still have that particular grid, because it's not the same as the grid that we have today. It's actually Espen Moe that will start from pole position for this one, with Ole Smistad in second position of the grid. Then Marcus Borli Rangard in third, along with Lucas Emil Lofshus. Then Vebjørn Danielsen Glend and Adrian Mikkelsen, Magnus Brathen and Robin Panian Sveen, Christian Gether-Gundersen and Oscar Polsberg. Then we'll have Axel Remen-Hatler, Silas Savarov-Develofsen, and then we have Theodor Larsen, Thomas Norway and Julian Dalheim-Lai. Now, for some reason, my grasp of the race is going to be a bit tricky because my timing screen is not working properly, unfortunately. So hopefully that will get fixed as soon as humanly possible. But for the moment, at least, we can still observe what's going on via the monitor. Fortunately, you guys still have the timing screen to the left-hand side of yours, your picture when racing is continued. So we'll follow that as long as humanly possible. But Espen Moe will be lining up his Kart Republic alongside his fellow Kart Republic driver, Ole Smistad. And they will come off the final turn. They'll go through that final hairpin. And boy, oh boy, are they going to have a tough 15 laps in front of them. They're in the two tram lines. Are we going to start straight away? We are! And it's a great start for Ole Smistad. I think he's actually going to beat the pole position sitter Espen Moe to the first corner. He does. And as they drift through the first hairpin, there's not going to be a lot of grip to play with. But side by side again, that's going to be Ole Smistad losing out potentially to the pole sitter Espen Moe, who's now right there in second, trying to dive back through for the lead. We had a spinner in the tail end of the field trying to make out who it was, but I'm afraid I can't see from this point. So as they go under the bridge for the first time, everybody just trying to stay out of harm's way in racing conditions for the first time in very greasy race surface indeed. But certainly for Ole Smistad, it's a great start and moves into the lead. Oh, there's a little bit of nudging as they come off the hairpin. Couple of drivers impeding themselves and two spinners as they go around. I think one of them may end up accidentally getting beached there, which could be a nightmare as far as the rest of the race is concerned for them. Well, everybody trying to get themselves going again. And I think we may still have all 15 karts going. Indeed we do. But out in front, it is Ole Smistad who leads from Espen Moe. Then Adrian Mikkelsen, Lofshus, Rangard, Danielsen, Brathen and Elofsen doing a great job there. Running up in 8th position off the start in front of Christian Gether-Gundersen. And then in 10th position at the moment, we have Axel Remen-Hatler. So through they go on the far side of the course, and at the moment it is Ole Smistad who has got the composure and the confidence to lead this race under the bridge. And still they work their way through. Big slide from the Sodi kart, and that's going to be enough for Lucas Emil Lofshus to lose 4th position under the bridge. Very tricky conditions, just about got away with it. So the drivers still going hard as they drop down the hill into the hairpin. You can't imagine how tricky the conditions are here because we haven't got full rain tyres going on at this moment. So not entirely sure why the rain tyres are causing an issue the way that they are. Because obviously the circuit is still damp, but it's not exactly monsoon rain, is it? There are parts of the circuit which are quite wet, but in all honesty, not much of it is going to be doing a lot of work for the wet tyres. And we're in that annoying phase of a racing driver's mode on a circuit where it's not quite wet, it's not quite dry. Adrian Mikkelsen into second position. Good run from Mikkelsen. So that puts Adrian Mikkelsen into P2. So ahead of Espen Moe, and now chasing down the race leader, Ole Smistad. Running a little bit wide on the far side, but well done to Adrian Mikkelsen. He's working very hard here in P2. Looking good as they drop down the hill. Up to the hairpin once again. And it's looking good for Ole Smistad in the lead from Adrian Mikkelsen. So Ole Smistad leading, Adrian Mikkelsen, Espen Moe, Vebjørn Danielsen up to 4th position. Some big challenges as they work their way through. Oh, a big lunge on the inside there from Silas Savarov-Elofsen. And making a good overtaking move there in the penultimate hairpin. So that works out quite well. But it's definitely going to be a tricky challenge for the drivers as they continue to work their way further forward. So at the moment, Ole Smistad leading, Adrian Mikkelsen second from Espen Moe, and then Vebjørn Danielsen running in P4 at the moment. But it is that, oh, we've had an off at the first corner by the look of it. So someone has gone off at turn 1. We've got a cart off the road in the background, trying to make out who it is. But we've certainly had a retirement. It's one of the Paralins that's come off there at the first corner. Can't quite make out who it is, unfortunately. We'll try and pick that up in a short while. But certainly as the drivers work their way under the bridge and then through the chicane, back down the hill to the hairpin, this is the most difficult conditions for a racing driver because the track is not quite dry and not quite wet either. And they have no choice but to be on wet tyres based on all the rain we had overnight. But there's only parts of the circuit where the wet tyres will really be biting. So this is agony for the drivers. They've made all the setup changes for wet conditions, but the track is not really throwing up it's not really throwing up that much spray from the water that's on the circuit. There's not much of it on track at the moment because the circuit is drying out at this point. What the drivers could really do with is a big shower of rain at this phase to really help the tyres gain grip. Meanwhile, Adrian Mikkelsen is charging. He is closing in on the race leader, Ola Smistad. This could be a chance now for Adrian Mikkelsen to go and take the lead of the race as the drivers continue to work their magic through under the tunnel. Under the bridge, the drivers still working hard. Adrian Mikkelsen closing right up on Ola Smistad, putting in a brave face of it as they continue to charge their way forward up to the final hairpin. And Adrian Mikkelsen is looking for his move on Ola Smistad, looking very fast as he comes off the turn. This could be Adrian Mikkelsen going for the lead of the race. He has a think about it up towards turn 1. Holds his moment, doesn't need to rush this. Plenty of time, still got 10 laps to go. But in the wet conditions, if you've got more momentum, you're going to try and push for it. Going over the top of the bridge. This is where Adrian Mikkelsen can make the bid for the lead of the race. And he takes it. Adrian Mikkelsen takes the lead of the race on the back straight. Very good work indeed from Mikkelsen. And just in time as well, because they're about to get to a yellow flag zone. Because we've lost a couple of drivers from the fray. We seem to have lost Magnus Brathen as well. We had already previously lost Julian Dalheim Lai. But it looks as though we're also going to lose Magnus Brathen. In fact, we already have. Brathen's got out of the cart. Adrian Mikkelsen then is your race leader here at Kärnivana in very difficult conditions. So out of the final turn, and it's looking really strong for Adrian Mikkelsen. He leads here ahead of Ola Smistad, and in third place, Espen Moe, being chased down by Vebjørn Danielsen. 10 laps remaining then for the competitors as they come through at the end of the lap, although it looks as though they've had 6 laps actually completed, so I'm not entirely sure why we've got 10 laps remaining on the board. I thought this was I think this was actually meant to be a 15-lap race, and it looks as though we're going to get 16 laps out of it. So that could be tricky for a couple of the drivers out there on the course. But certainly the official on the main straight was showing that we had 10 laps to go when we've had 6 laps completed. So maybe that's in error, or maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Oh, big slide in the battle for third position as Vebjørn Danielsen thought he had the line on Espen Moe. Slid in on the inside there and manages to make it work. So it's definitely been an interesting one for the contenders out there on the course. But there is the competition continuing on the way. Well, the board in front of me now shows that it's showing 90 laps. I think we're actually meant to have 8 laps remaining. So it's very interesting working to that sort of condition at the moment, because we've had 7 laps completed here. So it's going to be an interesting one for the contenders as they continue to put on a good show of it. 7 laps currently completed. By my math, we've got 8 laps to go. So when the drivers come through this time by, it's going to be Adrian Mikkelsen who leads with Ola Smistad in second place. Espen Moe still third. Vebjørn Danielsen all over him at this point. So it's going to be a tricky one as the drivers continue on their way forward. They will complete this lap. Vebjørn Danielsen all over the back of Espen Moe, trying to make the move for third position as Adrian Mikkelsen continues on his way. So still they go forward. So we've had 8 laps completed. And the drivers still putting on a good show up front, but it's so tricky in these conditions when really they need a bit of rain, because at the moment there's not enough rain going down on the circuit for these wet tyres to really work at their best. And the problem you've got is that essentially you're going to need a bit more rain than this to actually do your best work. So they could really do with having a bit more in terms of grip out on the circuit. But Mikkelsen is your leader. Second place, Ola Smistad. And they are chasing down the victory. Espen Moe still in third position. Adrian Mikkelsen going well in the lead. But this is going to be really difficult in terms of grip now for the drivers. Not a lot of rain coming down at this point and not a lot of water still left on the circuit. It drains fast here at K&A Varna. But there are a couple of places on the course where it's not going to be so easy. Right now, we've got the correct number of laps on the board going out to the drivers now. 6 laps is correct. 9 laps completed, 6 to go. Well, the wet tyre conditions obviously causing a very tough race out there then for all of the drivers. But a very exciting mini superheat, that is for sure. 15 laps completed, and Adrian Mikkelsen coming through for the goods then in front of Ole Smistad and Vebjørn Danielsen. The drivers finally completing the race distance. Apologies for any sound issues that we had there at the end of the race. But a fantastic run for Adrian Mikkelsen in front of Ole Smistad and Vebjørn Danielsen, as the victory goes the way of the talented youngster, 10 years of age only, Adrian Mikkelsen, and doing an exceptional job there to guide his kart through the closing stages of a very tough race indeed. And the difficulty with that particular race that we saw was that although it's a wet circuit in various parts of the course, it's not completely wet and sodden through, so the tyres are struggling to bite at this point of proceedings. So Adrian Mikkelsen takes the win then from Ole Smistad and Vebjørn Danielsen. A very good race indeed then between those three. Fourth place for Christian Gether Gundersen in front of Espen Moe and Axel Remmen Hatle, I do believe. Then Silas Severed Elfsen, Theodor Larsen, Robin Panjan Sven and Marcus Pauli Rangard. Thomas Norvey, Oscar Polsberg, Lucas Emilofshus, and then Magnus Brathen and Julian Dalham Lai were able to, were not able, sorry,